In reality, everyone knows what's gonna happen. Is another dude that's talking that's gonna fold in front of me. In reality, it doesn't matter how hard someone hits me or they bring to the table. No one's ever gonna hit me harder than life has hit me. So what people say, what people do, and what people can do against me, it really doesn't matter.
It depends, man. You can follow his game plan, you know. If Charles can take him down, he can finish him easy in the ground. Or if Topuria catch him, he's gonna sleep, you know.
As the fight is almost here, Charles Oliveira has just issued a cold warning to Ilia Topuria in their recent press conference. On the other hand, Ilia Topuria shared his vision for how the fight will unfold, displaying calm confidence and focus. He outlined a clear approach, showing readiness, discipline, and belief in his skills to control the pace and dictate the outcome decisively.
2-minute sprint? No. He's gonna try to walk forward. He's not gonna find a way to do it, and I'm gonna make him play my game, as I said.
However, Charles Oliveira has recently impressed fans and trainers alike with his intense kicking training. His improved technique, speed, and power were on full display, showcasing his dedication to evolving as a complete striker. Moreover, Islam Makhachev also shared his thoughts on the fight, offering his perspective with calm confidence and focus.
Ilia Topuria has said a lot about you. He's being very respectful now this week. Like he said, he doesn't think you ducked him and he respects you for chasing your goals at welterweight. Who do you think is going to win on Saturday at UFC 317 between Ilia and Charles Oliveira?
It depends, man. You can follow his game plan, you know. If Charles can take him down, he can finish him easy in the ground. Or if Topuria catch him, he's gonna sleep, you know. And two options. Who is gonna make the game plan working?
There's never been a two-time lightweight champion. Charles will be the first if he wins. That would be a big accomplishment.
Well, I don't know about it. But he has chance. He has big chance, you know.
Yeah.
And he always fight good against the striking, you know, striking. But if Charles have small chance, if you give him small chance, he's gonna beat.
Javier Mendez, longtime trainer of Islam Makhachev, also shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight, bringing a seasoned coach's perspective to the conversation. Known for guiding some of the sport's top athletes, Mendez's input carries weight in the MMA world.
So he has a chance. He has a chance. And on the ground, he has a chance also. So you can't.
He has a chance, but do you see him winning? Moving on to this weekend's special event, Topuria and Charles Oliveira. I heard you in an interview on Submission Radio saying that you love Charles Oliveira and you want to see him win. But do you actually see him winning this fight?
I can see him winning, yes, absolutely. You know, especially up the middle where he can use his height and his knees and his range, you know. If you watch one of Topuria's earlier fights where he's dipping a lot, I can see Charles Oliveira's catching him with the knee right up the middle.
As a coach who has seen countless big fights unfold, Mendez approached the matchup with a sharp analytical lens. His demeanor suggested confidence in how the fight might play out, adding another layer of intrigue to the already high-stakes showdown.
And I can see the front kick going up the middle because he has a traditional boxing stance, you know, the way he comes in. And one good way to beat a good boxer is Muay Thai. You know, good Muay Thai stance can get a good boxer if you have good Muay Thai. And Charles's Muay Thai is not great, but it's good. So he has a chance. And on the ground, he has a chance also. So you can't.
He has a chance, but do you see him winning? Like, would you pick him?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's a whole different story.
I want him to win, but I give the edge to Topuria.
Charles Oliveira also spoke about Ilia Topuria's punching power, acknowledging it with respect while maintaining his trademark composure. As a fighter who has faced some of the division's most dangerous strikers, Oliveira didn't shy away from the challenge.
Charles, you mentioned a lot of the mental edges in terms of legacy and history, hunger and thirst, a lot of things coming into the octagon. Can you mention contrasting styles or what he does or doesn't do that can't match what you can do, or in terms of what you prepared for?
Na realidade, sendo bem verdadeiro, é que ninguém nem nada nessa vida vai me bater mais do que a vida já me bateu. Então, por isso que esses caras falam, o que esses caras pensam que vão deixar de fazer, para mim não faz diferença nenhuma.
In reality, it doesn't matter how hard someone hits me or they bring to the table. No one's ever gonna hit me harder than life has hit me. So what people say, what people do, and what people can do against me, it really doesn't matter.
Charles Oliveira issued a cold, calculated warning to Ilia Topuria, making it clear that he won't be underestimated.
You say that you're coming forward in this fight and you're the lion and you're going to bring the fight to him. He actually predicted that's exactly what you would do. Is there any part of you that thinks maybe I shouldn't play into what he expects, or does part of you think it'll be fun to prove that he can expect exactly what I'm going to do and I still manage to beat him at it anyway?
In reality, everyone knows what's gonna happen. Is another dude that's talking that's gonna fold in front of me.
Alexander Volkanovski shared optimistic insights on the fight, expressing confidence in both fighters' abilities and preparation. While he made his pick known, he kept it under wraps, adding an air of mystery to his prediction.
I am leaning towards Ilia Topuria. I think if Charles comes aggressive like that, Ilia's going to land some of them big bombs. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's a lightweight division, his power won't be there. Trust me, the power's still there. I don't think that he's going to play into it too much. So I'm going to go with Ilia as a new lightweight champ. It's going to be exciting, however long it lasts. So let's see how it all goes down.
Volkanovski also broke down how Charles Oliveira will approach the fight, highlighting Oliveira's strategic mindset and adaptability.
But when I want to break this down more, again, we like to, when we talk about fights, we go off what we've seen lately or what we've seen, right? We never really take into consideration what someone's game plan is going to be. Someone can change what they've done in their last 5 fights purely because it's not going to work well against this opponent. Could we see that? Charles Oliveira, does he know that, man, Ilia's powerful, his early chance is knocking me out, I'm not going to give it to him. I might press and look for that takedown, grab a hold of him, I'm bigger, I'm a lightweight.
Volkanovski also questioned Charles Oliveira's unpredictability, admitting that it's hard to know exactly how the fight will unfold. He highlighted Oliveira's ability to switch tactics suddenly, making him a challenging opponent to read.
Does he approach it that way? Doesn't even, because a lot of times with Charles, even though he backs his grappling, he will always strike first, then grapple, if that makes sense. So he put himself in danger and be aggressive on the feet and then grab a hold. Will he not do any of that and just shoot, be more defensive till he shoots for the takedown? We will see. So that's going to be, could that be a part of his game plan? I don't know.
Renato Moicano also shared his pick for the fight, confidently backing one of the fighters while explaining his reasoning. His choice reflected his deep knowledge of both athletes' strengths and styles, adding valuable insight to the ongoing discussion about how the fight might play out.
Unfortunately, Topuria, I'm saying that with a broken heart. You know, I'm a huge Charles Oliveira fan. I wish this guy could speak English so you guys can see the emotion, the connection that he has with the fans, especially being from a very poor background. You know, the way he communicates himself in Portuguese is amazing. I am a fan, but Topuria beat 2 of legends on his previous fight, you know?
Benail Dariush also shared his pick for the fight between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. Drawing from his experience in the lightweight division, he confidently backed one fighter, offering insight into the matchup based on their styles and strengths.
I would say one of the biggest keys would be checking the leg kick. I think Ilia did a lot of damage in his last 2 fights with that leg kick. If he does that, I think the fight becomes really competitive, because striking-wise, Charles is quite dangerous with the knees and the kicks and, you know, the tie clinch and all that. So I think if he checks the kick, the fight becomes very dangerous. I think if it goes to the ground, the fight's very dangerous. So I think it's going to be a lot more competitive than people think.
Ilia Topuria also shed light on Charles Oliveira's approach, explaining how he plans to counter it effectively. He emphasized staying composed and using precise timing to neutralize Oliveira's offense. Topuria showed confidence in his strategy to control the fight and prevent Oliveira from gaining the upper hand.
¿Crees que él también va a mantenerse a ese estilo que hace de ser tan agresivo?
No va a poder. No va a poder. Que él puede tener una estrategia, pero después, una vez la campana suena, el combate empieza, no va a encontrar la manera de avanzar hacia adelante. Que eso es lo que sucede conmigo. Que avanzar hacia adelante, ¿con quién estás acostumbrado a hacer eso? Ese no soy yo. Lo vas a ver intentar ir hacia adelante, obviamente. No encontrará la manera de hacerlo, retrocederá, recibirá un par de golpes en la cara, intentará algún derribo y ya muy pronto verás la finalización.
Dustin Poirier believes Ilia Topuria can keep his streak alive by using his knockout power and aggressive style while staying smart in the pocket to handle tough opponents like Charles Oliveira.
Where would you think if he goes from knocking out Volk to knocking out Max, and if he knocks out Charles, is this one of like the greatest 3-fight winning streaks we've ever seen?
For sure. For sure. I mean, these are legends we're talking about, you know?
Yeah.
Stopping a guy who's never been stopped in Max, beating Volk, who has long time top of the game, like Charles, another former champ who's putting on great performances. Like, man, what can I say about this guy? I'll say it again. If he does it, he's everything he said he is, man. He's a dangerous dude.
In another interview, Ilia Topuria issued a cold warning to Charles Oliveira, speaking with calm certainty about how the fight will play out. He made it clear that he's fully prepared and expects to dominate every moment.
I think it's going to be more striking fights. Since the first second, he's going to feel the speed and the power. He's going to start to look for the takedowns and for the ground game. But I think that it's going to be very, very quick, because I'm going to finish him in the first 2 or 3 minutes, because as I told you, as I mentioned, I'm not going to need to close the distance with him. We're gonna find each other since the first second. So when that happens, I'm too much for my opponents. I'm too good for them.
Michael Bisping shared his prediction for the fight, offering a detailed breakdown of both fighters' strengths and weaknesses. He emphasized the importance of timing, precision, and composure, noting that the matchup could come down to who executes their game plan better on the night.
The man's a class act, he's an absolute superstar, and he will go on to become a 2-weight division champion. That is correct, my friends. He gets the job done this weekend. I think he's absolutely nailed it. I think Charles Oliveira goes forward and he gets caught with something big.
Bilal Muhammad also shared his insights on the upcoming fight, acknowledging the high-level skills both Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria bring to the cage.
Is Topuria ready for 155? Is his power going to translate? Keys to victory for Charles Oliveira. You got to make it dirty. You got to get close on him. I think you have to initiate the clinch, initiate grappling exchanges, especially early. Don't try to sit there and box with him. Don't strike with him. I know you have a high guard, but you get caught a lot with looping punches on the outside. You don't want to get caught with a looping punch by Topuria. I would say go high body lock. Let's test his strength. Let's see if he's strong enough for 155. Even if you have to pull guard, we haven't really seen Topuria's ground game that well, right? They say he has great grappling, but that's your world. You can wear on him, pull on him. Let's see if he added a little bit too much muscle. That's gonna mess up his cardio, and it's just gonna mess up his rhythm.
Bilal Muhammad also broke down the key factors for both fighters to secure a win.
Topuria is a rhythm fighter, beautiful boxing, beautiful footwork. When you're initiating these grappling exchanges, when you're making him think about the takedown, he's not gonna be able to set up his power punch. Topuria, exact opposite. Oliveira keeps his chin a little bit too high. I know he has the high guard. Set up your looping punches by going straight to the body, by going low kick. Chop him down a little bit, he stands straight upright. If you do knock him down with a punch, go for the kill. We've seen guys like Michael Chandler and we've seen guys like Justin Gaethje drop him and didn't want to really initiate the grappling exchanges with him. We've seen you go against guys like Ryan Hall. We've seen you against Bryce Mitchell on the ground. You got great ground game, great ground defense. So if you do drop Charles, don't let him off the hook, because when Charles gets back up, he always finds a way. When you're breaking up the clinches, keep your hands back up, proper defense. Don't ever overextend on your punches, because Charles will catch you, and if he does catch you, he does have great power. So be very smart and disciplined with your defense, submission-wise and striking-wise. My pick is gonna be Topuria. I think he's so good with his hands. He's so good at setting up punches, setting up traps, that he's gonna eventually catch Charles.
Moreover, Dan Hardy also broke down the fight by highlighting the contrasting styles of both fighters.
I can certainly see a point where Topuria gets where he gets sick of dropping Charles Oliveira but not being able to put him away entirely. Like, I mean, think about this as a scenario, right? So the first round starts, Topuria comes out and he cracks Oliveira with one big shot and drops him. Oliveira sits to his butt and then kind of welcomes him to the floor, and Topuria's like, no, I'm not playing this game, back to your feet. And then he could drop him once, twice more, but not feel confident to rush in and try and TKO finish. Like, it might be the second, third, fourth time that he drops him. He's like, right, I'm going to have to just go and finish the job and get the referee to stop it, because this is not going to be a walk-off knockout. He's too tough. And then he rushes in, he starts landing some big shots. And in the scramble, you can see Oliveira arm dragging him or inverting for an ankle lock, you know, entangling him with some kind of calf slicer that then allows him to climb to his back.
Dan Hardy also shared a theoretical outcome where frustration could play a key role.
I mean, I could give you a few different scenarios like that, but it would be that kind of circumstance, I think, where Topuria's dropped him and then, you know, chases it up on the ground. And I think that would come out of frustration of not being able to get the finish on the feet.
Tom Aspinall shared his thoughts on the fight, expressing respect for both fighters while highlighting the excitement the matchup promises.
I think something that I like about Charles, let's have a little look at him, is he isn't afraid to exchange with the punches, with anybody. We've seen him get punched off guys like Chandler. We've seen him get guys off guys like Gaethje and all the rest of the short, stocky, powerful punchers. So Topuria, his style isn't dissimilar to other guys he's fought before. But what he likes to get involved, get him dragged into a bit of a punching match, and then he'll tie him up. And then he'll go for flying triangles. He's not scared to be on his back either. He doesn't mind getting taken down where he's on his back, and he'll be throwing up. He'll be doing all this kind of stuff. He'll be throwing up triangles. He'll be going sweeps, lifting him up. He'll be doing all different kind of attacks off his back as well, and that is something that is difficult to prepare for.
Adding an analytical angle, Lucas Tracy broke down the striking matchup, pointing out a clear gap in levels between Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria. While Tracy acknowledged that Oliveira is solid on his feet, he emphasized that when you compare Oliveira's striking to the sharp, high-level boxing Topuria has been displaying, the difference feels massive.
That now has a lot of views. It's got like 130K views. But then I rewatched Topuria versus Max Holloway after rewatching Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan, and the level of boxing is just totally different. Not even when it comes to Topuria versus Tsarukyan, but also Max versus Tsarukyan. As good as Arman Tsarukyan is on the feet, and as good as Charles Oliveira is on the feet, when you compare the level of boxing and striking that those guys are showing compared to the level of boxing and striking that Ilia and Max are showing, it honestly felt like I was comparing a bantamweight fight to a middleweight fight. And I know that Arman is pretty solid on the feet. I know Oliveira's pretty solid on the feet, but like, it's just different, brother. It's just totally different. Ilia Topuria's hand speed, his combos, even against Holloway. I'm watching Ilia versus Holloway.
Expanding on this breakdown, Tracy warned that if Oliveira chooses to engage in stand-up exchanges, he risks getting outclassed, even by Topuria's simple jab, as the undefeated contender's speed, crisp combinations, and precision could prove overwhelming.
If Oliveira goes out there and strikes with Ilia Topuria, I know that Topuria is a guy that has to heat up a little bit. He's not the earliest starter, but dude, he's getting outboxed by a simple jab, like just one shot and a jab, and a one strike and a kick. Topuria is overhand coming in, and I'm impressed by Max. I'm like, I forgot how good Holloway was. Holloway didn't even look this good back in the day against Cater. Holloway was looking amazing in that fight. Some of the combos he was landing, the speed that he had, the 1-2s, I didn't see a single. I saw Oliveira land a 1-2 against Arman Tsarukyan. That was a good shot, but it's like, dude, the speed of even Holloway is mogging these lightweights. And you've got Topuria out there. It's just a totally different world of striking, man. I can't pick Oliveira in this fight.
Making his prediction crystal clear, Lucas Tracy didn't hold back, stating flat out that he can't pick Charles Oliveira in this matchup. In his view, Oliveira is headed for a knockout loss against Ilia Topuria when they finally meet inside the cage.
I know that Charles Oliveira is big. Everyone's talking about Ilia Topuria next to Raul Rosas and then Charles next to Raul Rosas. It's like, dude, Topuria is the same height as Arman Tsarukyan. This kind of speed with this kind of combination game, with this kind of power, Charles is going to get KO'd in this fight. That is my ultimate prediction, okay? Poirier's lighting him up.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about the fight? We would love to hear your thoughts on this matchup. So share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.